Well, here we have the T-Bird moved into my garage. So the next step will be start working on the mechanicals. I'm going to end up raising the T-Bird up in the air and do the fuel line, the brake lines, the emergency brake cables, transmission lines, drain the transmission, replace the filter, everything that has to be done underneath, and I'll move to the engine compartment. Okay, this is the right-hand manifold rabbit hole. That was the first thing I ended up getting into. Here's the exhaust manifold right here. This is the replacement part. I end up having to disconnect filler tube for the transmission and also the breather tube that connects right over here. To access it, I had one bolt I couldn't get out from at the very end over here on the bottom. So I took the breather tube off, I took that holder for the automatic transmission fluid, still couldn't access it, so what had to happen was the starter down here had to be removed so we could get to that bolt. So I'm going to show you the exhaust manifold that we took off. This one here, I ended up hiring a mobile mechanic. I'm 72 years old. I got a pinched nerve. I really can't get into the car. And once I start getting into these rabbit holes, I said, okay. So I had all the parts. So it turns out this particular exhaust manifold is a used one. And those are the new studs required to attach the exhaust pipes. He had a buddy that had to heat up the old one, or actually the used one we had here that had not the right studs in it, to remove them and put the right ones in. So let me stop this and go over and show you the cracked manifold that came out of there. Here's the manifold we took out of there. The guy was restoring the car for me, welded it, bolted it in, and turns out it's still cracked. So see right here, the cracks are right here. This is the old exhaust manifold. It was taken out of there. I'll show you a picture of what it was before I took it out, just beyond this video. Okay, here's the left-hand side of the motor. The exhaust manifold's out. Since we had done the other manifold, exhaust manifold, and I had the parts and the bolts over here and the exhaust gasket, we were going to do this. We ended up taking it off and we couldn't see it, but it had a welded right here on the bottom. The screw hole, or bolt hole, was also welded. So he's got it over the shop with his buddy. I'm going to weld down a new piece there. Hopefully it works out, and we'll take a video of that when he comes back, and then we'll install this exhaust manifold. Okay, here's the welded up part. Came out pretty good. We'll see how that works out with the other bolts around it. May not be a problem. If it is a problem, I'll get another used part or a new part. Well, I had a little change of plans here. Originally, I was going to get the motor started, and I start looking at all the things I had to do. My game plan here is I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, and I'm going to be shipping my car back to New York State, and we'll be leaving at the end of April. And I realized I didn't have enough time, especially since I found that the exhaust on the passenger side, it looks like the restorer had welded the exhaust manifold, so I went to go take that off and got all the bolts except one down below. Couldn't get to it. Had to disconnect the breather pipe and automatic transmission stack, and realized I couldn't get to it because of the weld that was done around it, and we have to drop the starter. So, given that I'm 72 years old and I have a pinched nerve in my lower back, causes my legs to numb up, I can't really stand for very long. So what I ended up doing was hiring a mobile mechanic, and the guy's been working on it. So now what we're doing is we're stuffing all the lower parts, the car's up in the air over here, and we got it way up in the air. And so we've been putting parts on the car, and so hopefully we'll get all the parts on, and we'll get the windshield in, the back window, and then I'll be able to ship the car. The motor won't be running. Heck, the motor wasn't running when I shipped it here from Illinois, so should be in pretty good shape to move it. But there's going to be further on episodes of the stuff we've been doing on the car. So if you want to keep up with my project, please subscribe and give us a thumbs up, and have a nice day.